Hello, my name is Rinon and here is my quick guide to patch 5.3's new dungeon, the Heroes Gauntlet. I'm not going to talk you through the entirety of the dungeon, I am just going to outline the 3 bosses and the major mechanics and how to deal with them so that you can have a smooth first run. Let's get into it. The first boss is the Spectral Thief. He's going to have a couple of attacks that are very simple to deal with. First up, he is going to cast Spectral Dream, which is a tank buster, so use cooldowns and mitigate it. Then, he is going to dash. Dashing is going to spawn a tether to a marker at some point in the arena. When the AoE surrounding the boss goes off, the boss will teleport to the marker and execute his attack there. So see here, he does a big circle AoE. You do not need to dodge this circle AoE, you instead need to dodge where the circle AoE is going to be when he teleports. Next up, the boss casts Spectral Whirlwind, which is a raid damage, so whenever you see that, just heal and mitigate as necessary. You will soon see a chicken knife cast bar. Don't worry about it for now. The chicken knives are going to stay at the edge of the arena, they won't do anything super scary, but after a set period of time, they are going to shoot dodgeable line AoEs in from the edge of the arena. You can just avoid these as necessary. But on top of this, the boss is going to use Shadow Dash, which is very similar to the regular dash we saw earlier in the fight. The boss will create a shadow clone on the marker, and he will execute not only his AoE, but also the shadow clone's AoE. So you're going to have to find the safe spot both from where he currently is and where his shadow clone is. Those are all of the major mechanics for the first boss. He may do variations of these mechanics, but you deal with them in the exact same way. The second boss is the Spectral Necromancer. Her first attack is going to be Absolute Dark 2, which is a wide arena cleave. You can just dodge this by moving out of the AoE, nice and simple. Next up, she is going to cast Necromancy. Now Necromancy is going to spawn 4 zombie adds which are going to tether to each player, and they are going to chase you around, auto-attacking you for very negligible damage. Don't worry about being hit by them. But you can kite these adds until the 4 of you are spread apart away from one another, because when the boss casts Necroburst, which he is going to do soon, these adds are going to explode, and if you're on top of one another, you're going to take massive damage. Next up, she will use Twisted Touch, which is a tank buster, use cooldowns as necessary. In the second phase of this fight, she's going to drop poison on the floor to give you less room to work with, and once again, she's going to use Necromancy to spawn 4 more adds, and they're going to tether to the players once again. But this time, these Necromancy zombies are a little bit different, because they are going to grab you and root you in place, so you need to make sure that you position spread out as early as possible, making use of the limited space. From then on, it's just going to be repeats of these same mechanics until you kill her. The final boss is the Spectral Berserker. His first attack is Beastly Fury, and he's going to cast this very often. This is a simple raid damage that you can heal and mitigate. Next up, he casts Wild Anguish, which is a stack damage. The first time he casts this, it's a simple stack with all of the players, and you'll notice that it gives you a magic bomb. This is important for later. Next up, he casts Wild Rage, which is a knockback from the blue AoE on the floor, and when he does that, it's going to create a little wormhole in the floor, and this will be important later as well. Following this, the boss is going to target each player with a red AoE. Spread these out, they're going to drop falling rocks and give you a little bit of damage. Following this, the boss is going to cast Wild Anguish once again, which gives each player their own individual stack markers. To resolve this mechanic, all you have to do is stack individually with your fallen rocks that have just dropped on top of you in order to soak the damage as a pair with the fallen rocks. But you've got to remember, this gives a magic ball, so if 2 players are too close to one another, it is going to insta-kill them. The next ability is Wild Rampage. To solve this, you simply hide in the wormhole in order to be underneath the attack and dodge it completely. But there is a little bit of a ruffle to this mechanic. Hiding in the hole will give you the A Bit Berserk debuff. If it reaches 8 stacks, aka if you stay in there too long, you will go berserk and lose complete control of your character, doing nothing but quote unquote attack and taking damage until the effect drops, so try to avoid staying in there too long. Lastly, the boss casts Raging Slice, which shoots line AoEs from where he is facing at the end of the cast bar. Just repeat until dead, because there's going to be just sequential mechanics based on these mechanics for the rest of the fight. I hope this quick guide helped you. If it was useful, it would be so helpful to me if you would subscribe and maybe share it to help others. I've got another few guides that I'm working on now, so hopefully they'll be useful to you too. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Enjoy patch 5.3.